Hello everyone, my name is Jake Sainsbury and my chosen Australian sport participant is Lenny Hayes. Today I am going to talk about Lenny Hayes' written biography and analyse how the development of the participant helped maximise his potential through the sports delivery system. The Vodcast will outline several key components of Lenny's book, relating it to how sport development and the sport delivery system helped in maximising his potential. Included in the Vodcast is why I chose Lenny Hayes, the definition of a sports delivery system, sports, organisations, agencies and competitions Lenny Hayes was involved in, Lenny Hayes' achievements, how the organisations and agencies Lenny was involved in contributed to his success, reflecting on Lenny's understanding of sport delivery systems. I have selected Lenny based on a few characteristics. Lenny was known as a hard-working, resilient athlete who always strived to get the best out of himself. He also critiqued his game in which showed his flaws, but because of this, he knew what he needed to do in order to improve his game. Being a St Kilda fan, Lenny played his whole career for the club and was an idol for me during that time. Everything Lenny did throughout his career was very relatable to myself, which is the reason why I chose Lenny Hayes. The biography Lenny had written is self-titled, in which it was published in 2014 by Hardie Grant's Books. Lenny had written the biography himself with the help of author Jason Phelan. As mentioned by Dr. Olin Scott, there is no set definition of the term sports delivery system, though a sports delivery system can be interpreted as a variety of different organisations and agencies in which helps with the player's progression in their required sport from a young age. It consists of a number of levels of competition in which helps an individual progress to a high level of participation and development. Organisations and agencies that provide the sports delivery system include sporting organisations, health and education agencies, advocacy groups, government agencies, and media. These agencies help in delivering sport to participants by allowing them to compete and contribute at a required level. Sport for All is also used within the sports delivery system, which consists of two different components known as sports development and sports equity. Sport for All allows all ethnicities, genders, ages, and skills to participate and develop themselves through the sports delivery system through a number of levels. Lenny Hayes was involved in the Australian Football League, better known as the AFL. He became involved due to a number of factors. His father had influenced him at a young age due to him being a supporter of the AFL and the North Melbourne Football Club. Though Lenny played soccer at the age of 4, sometimes participating in cricket, rugby league and rugby union as a child, AFL was always his preferred sport. His first involvement with the AFL came at the age of 7 when his childhood friend Andrew Gillies was trying out for Pennants Hill. Being a local club, Lenny had also decided to try it for Pennants Hill. This was how Lenny initially became involved with the AFL. Lenny was involved in a number of competitions and events at different levels. When he was young, he was involved in the Sydney AFL and grassroots program at a local level. As he progressed with his development and had gotten older, he was then invited to represent New South Wales and ACT in an interstate carnival, and then later represented the New South Wales ACT Rams at a state level in the TAC Cup. After being drafted, Lenny then played in the Australian Football League competition between 1999 and 2014 at a national level. During his time in the AFL, Lenny was awarded an All-Australian selection in 2003, 2005 and 2009, which allowed him to compete at an international level. The AFL competition's format is pretty simple but complex to understand. Referencing Bale's book on Sportscapes, all AFL competitions based on the sports delivery system uses a partitioning sportscape. This means that the ground is usually surrounded with grandstands, watched by spectators, and has specialised land use. The competition is round-robin based and goes for 23 rounds. Lewis and Thompson explain that all teams involved are required to play all teams the exact same amount of times with a fixed round structure. Though due to there only being 18 teams, all teams are required to play multiple teams twice in one season based on their ranking the previous year. For example, if a team finished in the bottom 6 teams of the ladder, they would get to play more bottom-ranked teams twice rather than top-ranked teams. This allows for fairness within the game, so teams can progress up the ladder and gain a better ranking. The same rules apply for higher-ranked teams. After a final 8 is determined by the amount of wins and percentage based on the round-robin scheduling, an elimination-based final format based on the single and double elimination formats are put in place. Ling Hui Su, Yu Fang Chu, and Chang explained that in a traditional single elimination tournament, the loser of each game is immediately eliminated from the tournament. A double elimination tournament is used in the first week of the final series. This is where the loser of their respective game is eligible to play in the tournament, despite losing games. Though the AFL only allows the 2 losers within the top 4 to be eligible to play again the next week against the other 2 winners from the bottom 8. After the first week, the traditional single elimination format is used to close out the final series. Top End Sports classifies this complex explanation as the McIntyre final system. Lenny achieved great success during his AFL career. Throughout his career, he collected a lot of individual awards, but never completed the one goal and aspiration every AFL player is driven to achieve. This was winning an AFL Grand Final. Despite not liking the individual success, Lenny won the Rams Best and Fairest in 1997. He was later drafted by St Kilda in the 1998 AFL Draft. That same year, he won the Morris Medal playing for the Rams. After a few years in the league, Lenny won multiple Trevor Barker Awards in 2003 and 2012. During his prime, he achieved success at an international level, being named All-Australian in 2003 and 2005, while also being named club captain in 2004 and again in 2007. Going back to Lenny's first involvement in AFL, he was involved in what was known as the grassroots program in the Sydney AFL competition. It was a program that allowed for youths to participate in local competitions in their local district and district communities. Considering Lenny was from Sydney, the grassroots program was only new to him and the district, as AFL was not considered a strong statewide sport. But because of this, it allowed for Lenny, as well as other participants, to progress their way to the next age group as he and others got older. In terms of sports development, the grassroots program allowed for youths to simply participate and grow comfortable playing AFL. According to Shilbury, Phillips, Karg and Rowe, this program is considered as a sport for development concept, as it provides a pathway to encourage participants to achieve community-orientated objectives, as well as helping with personal development. After being drafted by St Kilda Football Club in the 1998 draft with the 11th pick, certain coaches and training staff were able to help Lenny into becoming a professional athlete and a better player in terms of player development. The club was able to develop certain physical features due to the available facilities, even though the club was one of the worst ranked based on their facilities. Pre-season training was also a regular development approach after the completion of the season. During the pre-season, Lenny and other players would be given tasks in order to improve their game and his game. This could be as simple as getting fitness levels up. The club, as well as other AFL clubs, were known to do this for most of their players in order to achieve their higher success. Mentality was also considered a development stage in relations to media, fans and opponents, as they were, and still are, factors that may influence the development stage into today's game. From there, Lenny was able to try out for a state competition team. In this case, it was the New South Wales ACT Rams. Selected participants are required to play a traditional round-robin format with set rounds with certain scouts, coaches and other representatives watching on throughout the year. In terms of sports development, Lenny and other participants are able to see where their current development and playing level is at due to scouts and coaches giving critical analysis. The feedback can be used to improve a player's on-field performance by working on certain techniques, movements and physical structures. Lenny had a lot of individuals that helped guide him to his success rather than agencies. Robert Harvey, whom Lenny had played with, was a figure Lenny looked up to based on his work ethic. It is to be mentioned that Lenny built his game and development in similar circumstances to Robert Harvey, as Lenny himself states. Tim Watson was Lenny's first coach in the AFL. Tim Watson helped in the initial development of Lenny's game and was known to give Lenny the support and guidance he needed to make himself stand out. While there were times where Lenny was heavily criticised, without the help from Tim Watson, Lenny may not have achieved his highest success in the AFL. Though the biggest individual that influenced Lenny was his mother, as she was always there for him. Lenny's mother always supported his decisions, whether she agreed with them or not. Lenny even stated in the book that his mother had been his biggest influence, and even mentioned to her that if his parents' divorce didn't happen, he may not have succeeded at such a high level due to AFL being a getaway from the circumstances. Going back to Dr. Olin Scott's comments based on the delivery of sports delivery systems, and that there is not a set definition, Lenny has, being the author of his own biography, shows that he has a personal experience in relation to understanding sports delivery systems. Being an athlete in the AFL at a local, district, state, national and international level, Lenny was part of a sports delivery system and had participated and developed his skills through agencies and organisations. In terms of my own reflection of sports delivery systems, I have learned of different ways agencies and organisations allow for participation and development. Having already known the different levels and stages of the sports development system matrix, it was easy to get an understanding on how they worked in regards to Lenny's book. What surprised me the most was that the local and district organisations run programs within their competition to help in player development. An example of this is the grassroots program Lenny was in when he was playing in the Sydney AFL competition. In conclusion, Lenny's book shows a personal perspective on how sport is delivered in terms of development and participation within the sports delivery system. His AFL career and all organisations, teams, agencies and people involved helped in showing exactly that.